Throw the slack, you fucking moron!
Guys, welcome for the very first time to episode 51 of the pod. This is Screen Share, a movie podcast about Elf. My name's Adam Cook.
Calder. Wow. You are struggling today, huh? This is a rough day for you.
What are you talking about? That was kind of like a first try type thing. And the reference I made to the movie was that title.
That was, I guess, a good reference. It was on every bit of the movie.
A movie podcast about eating gum off the rails. What? Are you happy now?
Off the rails. He was in the middle of a train track eating it off the rails.
Handrail, brother. There's a handrail down to the subway. They're in New York City.
My guy over here
magical
used
place.
His entire brain power today to make a song about Santa fucking people.
No. Yeah. So this week on the pod, stay tuned. This week on the pod, we watched the movie Elf. We're doing Christmas movies this month. Last week we started off the month with Calder's pick, Die Hard, which was a good one.
Yeah.
But now we're getting a bit more traditional with the Christmas movies.
In
Still,
our values and in our picks.
Yeah. My values have definitely traditionalized in the past week, you know?
In the last week, yeah, you've actually, might not want me to say this to the audience, but gone alt-right.
You're correct that I would not want you to say that. I don't, at least not without a correction, which this is.
No one will issue.
So Elf, what's your relationship to Elf before we get into anything truly?
What is my relationship to Elf? That's an interesting question, Mr. Cook, and I will rephrase the question and give it back to you. What kind of memories do you have of the Elf movie?
I thought you were literally just going to ask me the exact question I asked you. I mean, you basically did.
I don't know. I think this is a big one for people around our age.
I agree.
Because I guess we can talk about this now, but I think this is the only, I guess recent, it's 20 years old at this point, but only recent movie that's gone into the Christmas canon as a classic. Or the most recent movie that's gone into the canon as a Christmas classic.
Yeah, that's like generally accepted as like a great classic Christmas movie. Yeah. I'd say so. I bet we're missing like something, but like it's all stuff like Noel.
Yeah, but no one watches that.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like I feel like there's ones that people like, but
there's
I'm not sure if there's
Christmases. I think Four Christmases could be big with the Zoomers. Not that it's a very good movie.
No.
But with it's like kind of one that people have started to watch a lot more. And it's
but
got
even
some
that,
funny
isn't
parts.
that like 2009?
Yeah, it's like 2008-9.
Yeah, so that's like still like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's been a movie except for Elf.
Well, yeah, I'm agreeing
since
with
2000. Well, it seems like you're arguing with me. I think the only one that's a candidate right now is Four Christmases, and I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
Even though
I would
we
agree.
watched Four Christmases together. It's
Yeah. Well, you know what I think it is? I think it's not great. It's got the first 2/3 are okay.
Yeah, then
the last third's pretty bad.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah. But I love me some Vince Vaughn though. I think what happened probably is I think Christmas movies were like a thing for a while. And like pretty significantly for a bit. But I think then everybody kind of just got into the zone of having the movies that they watch at Christmas. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And no one's really looking for a new one. I feel like everybody kind of has the ones that they watch every year, the ones that they resonate with. But like, I don't think many people are like, Christmas comes along and they're like, I wonder what new Christmas movies are coming out this year that I may add to the watch list every December. It's like, I don't think many people are really looking for that anymore.
They also kind of stopped releasing Christmas movies around Christmas because those spots started getting taken up by like Oscar movies. So
and like Star Wars.
Yeah. So you get like the franchise movie on Christmas or the Oscar movie on Christmas. Like what's coming out on Christmas this year?
Wonka.
The Color Purple.
Yeah.
Wonka, Aquaman. Like
all three very similar.
What do you I guess Wonka and Aquaman are kind of close because they're both mystical beasts.
I was kind of joking because
there
I feel
is
like
like
those are three
kind of a through
movies.
line to each of the movies where it's like Aquaman is a franchise sequel, Wonka is also a franchise sequel, but it's a musical, and The Color Purple is a musical and also kind of a sequel or remake of a franchise.
And Timmy Chalamet's wearing purple in the movie.
And Aquaman, water's purple, so there's that.
Did you say water is purple? I need you to clarify that.
Now, here's the thing.
About water being purple or something else?
About something else. I was trying to figure out the other classic Christmas comedies, I should say.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there are some Christmas dramas, but I don't really fuck with that. You know? I don't really want to watch
You ain't about that shit.
I'm not about that life of watching a drama at Christmas with your family. Do I want to be trying to hold back tears as jolly old St. Nick's gets his throat slit because he's been executed for magic? No, I don't. So Christmas comedies. Here's the sort of, I'll say Hall of Fame that I came up with, okay? Tell me if you agree or disagree.
All right.
We've got Elf.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
And
maybe Home Alone 2.
I haven't seen Home Alone 2. I will be fully frank.
It's got the man Donald Trump, and that liberal CBC cut him out.
I'm pretty sure it's been cut out. Yeah.
No, they only cut it out. The CBC cut it out because they were running it on TV, and they're like, this is like 2 minutes of useless shit, so let's just cut it out. But then everyone was like, they cut it out because he's Trump. And it's like, no, well, literally has no implication on the story whatsoever. So, thoughts on Home Alone?
I like Home Alone. Haven't seen it in a while. Honestly, a part of me wishing we were doing it this month.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year, but also something I should probably realize, I can also just watch movies if I'd like. There's been a couple times since doing this pod where I'll be like, oh, I kind of want to watch this movie. And I'm like, actually, let's save it for the pod. But I can just watch movies.
You know, you can, if you watch a movie again for the podcast, it might actually be better because then you've seen it recently and then you'll see it again.
I think I've gotten in my head recently about how I kind of like the idea of me seeing a lot of these for the first time for the podcast.
Yeah,
that doesn't always have to be the case.
Yeah, it's okay.
I've also seen Home Alone before, so I am allowed to watch Home Alone.
I think it's okay. Home Alone was never really my favorite one. I think that kid is just a nasty young boy.
Kevin McAllister?
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin?
Married to Brenda Song? What the hell's going on there?
They seem happy. He got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, I don't really care.
This week.
Don't they pay for that or something? Isn't that paid for? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really mean a goddamn thing.
Yeah, they have to pay for...
Didn't some freak just get one too? Or was it Macaulay Culkin that I'm thinking of? I think some other freak just got one.
I don't know. Probably.
It was like John Stamos or something? I don't know.
I do feel like I saw another Hollywood Walk of Fame thing this week.
I don't know how. I'm threatening. My fingers are threatening to look it up, and I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. I dropped a bunch of shit on the floor I've got to pick up.
Okay. It's great that we're both doing something not related.
That isn't talking on the podcast.
Recent Zac Efron? Yeah, he's
Zac Efron,
freak.
that was it.
That's a freak that I was like, why? And also, there's almost 2,800 stars?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's old, man.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the NBA Hall of Fame where you're kind of like, well, let's not let some of these guys.
Well, it's a kind of thing where, like, think about it right now. Think of telling the average person in your life that Zac Efron got a star on the Walk of Fame. They probably think that he deserves it. Whether he does or not, I'm not saying, but I do think that, like, in the grand scheme of, like, if we're looking at the Walk of Fame as, like, a Hall of Fame, I mean, that's kind of what it's saying. Like, Zac Efron, in the grand scheme of the history of cinema, doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Now, with the Walk of Fame, they literally just have to pay for it and, like, be a reasonably sized actor. So it, like, doesn't really matter. But, like, that's what I mean as far as, like, what did you say?
Who are some of these freaks that are on there?
Yes.
The initial selection of celebrities was Olive Borden, Ronald Coleman, Luis Fazenda, Preston Foster, Burt Lancaster, Edward Sedgwick, Ernest Torrance, and finally Joanne Woodward.
Oh, so they started with a bunch of nobodies, so they kind of set a precedent.
But the first star to actually grace
Sorry,
the walk...
I need to clarify that's a joke. I don't know who they are, but that's...
This was in 1960, on March 28th.
Yeah.
The first actual star was Stanley Kramer, who I think was that guy in Seinfeld. Now, another Christmas classic.
And they didn't even revoke it when he said all that stuff.
They probably gave him another one. Back then? Come on. Did you ever see? He went on
Seinfeld? Not really.
No, when Michael Richards, Seinfeld was on David Letterman's show, and Michael Richards decided.
When he video called in?
Yeah. Have you seen that?
Yeah, and he'd like already apologized, I think, but then he went on Letterman with Jerry on the show, and Jerry
then,
like cues the clip by being like, yeah, I thanks for being okay with this. I hope it's okay. He just wanted to say something or something like that. And then he's basically like, yeah, I'm really sorry.
But then like the audience is kind of laughing because they're like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's like
2005
like, I
came here to laugh.
or 2008.
Yeah.
And then Jerry's like, guys, stop laughing. But he's kind
Yeah.
of sitting there smirking. Anyway, weird.
Well, even him, like in the video call, giving the apology, he addresses them laughing and is like, I know that they're laughing, but I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
But then, like, I remember when the video call ends, it's like really awkward, and Jerry Seinfeld is like, yeah, so he's just really sorry. He just asked if he could say something. He's really sorry. He's pretty broken up about it. And it's just like, okay, man.
It's like, yeah, he should be broken up about it. He was a really bad guy.
We're so much better at canceling people these days, but like doing it right.
But also, like, that's hilarious that happened.
Yeah, I kind of wish that happened with every time anyone
Every
ever
time
like,
they had to do a live apology
on a talk show.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be watching late night
and
would
Jimmy Fallon's
be
there,
reborn.
so it's an easy laugh. They'll say something and he'll be like,
dude.
that's a good Fallon laugh. Anyway,
Who's someone who was
I gotta get
canceled
back
recently?
on that.
Fucking Matt Rife goes on Jimmy Fallon, and Matt Rife's like, "Oh yeah, I'm
But
just so sorry." Jimmy
but
Fallon
it's a Zoom
immediately
call.
slaps his desk.
It'd be
Starts
hilarious.
laughing.
Dude, the idea that it's a Skype call is insane. That he loaded up
Especially
his fucking Skype.
In that time, it was probably such a hassle to set up.
Okay. Classic Christmas comedies. We got through the second one on my list.
Yeah, for sure.
Home Alone. I think that's a fair addition. Not my
Can I say
favorite,
something?
but I think
Pretty sure that was the first one you said on your list.
I said Elf.
Oh.
So the
I didn't
first one was
consider
kind
that
of a
one 'cause it's
gimme.
Yeah.
Christmas Story. A Christmas Story. Have you seen this one?
Yeah.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. I don't watch.
Oh wait, no, I haven't seen it. Sorry, I thought you were talking about It's a Wonderful Life. I have not seen that film. I've
think
seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Christmas Story is, or a Christmas. I don't know. I don't really remember. Same thing. Take out just Facebook. That's my Justin Timberlake. I think
What
it's
a
pretty
weird-
good. I haven't seen it in a long time, and it's kind of one for the oldies out there, if I'm being honest. But it's like kind of a classic Christmas comedy. We've also got our movie next week, probably my favorite Christmas movie. Spoilers. Christmas Vacation. I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen this one?
No, I've not seen this.
I didn't force you to watch this when we were living together. Oh, I guess we had COVID
No.
during Christmas. I was kind of pissed off.
Yeah, you kind of stayed in your room, understandably so. We were kind of trying to stay away from each other, but also not really caring. Not that we didn't care. It's just we were already fucking together.
Yeah, we were in the same house together. Like,
It
if you had
sucked.
it, I had it. We were kissing too much anyway.
Yeah.
The animated and live action versions of The Grinch. The live action
Mhm.
version is pretty sick.
Yeah, some people love that film.
Yeah, I know someone who loves that movie. Hillary. There's also Jingle All the Way, which I think is also a bit of an older person one, where they're like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's so funny. And there's also this movie that I think is big with a lot of people, but I've never seen. And I guess it's just not kind of in my zone. But it's also a more modern one, is Bad Santa. Apparently a lot of people like Bad Santa.
So, fun fact, the director of Bad Santa was asked to do this film, and he said no in favor of Bad Santa.
Who's that?
I had his name. Let me find it.
Can I guess?
Sure.
Martin Scorsese.
No, Terry Zwigoff. He didn't really do much else. He mostly did documentary stuff.
Well, if he did Elf, he would have been doing fucking Mandalorian by now.
That is the peak. That is the peak of any director's
Are there
career.
any other Christmas comedies you can think of that you think are like in that sort
What's
of
the
tier?
fucking Tim Allen one?
The Santa Claus.
No.
The one
The
where
Tim
he
Allen-
becomes Santa Claus?
No, the one where he
Marmaduke.
doesn't want Christmas this year
Hmm?
or something. I
The
gotta
Christmas
look it up.
Carol? Christmas with the Cranks?
I think it's Christmas with the Cranks.
What's the Polar Express? That's a good one
I do
also.
like Polar Express. That
ha,
would have been a
you
fucking
got it.
wacky one to do.
We got it. Tom Hanks is in
Yeah,
his
Christmas
bag
with
in
the
that.
Cranks. This one I've seen like on TV multiple
cable?
times. That's Jamie Lee Curtis?
Dude, why are you surprised that she's in a bad movie? She's in like so
No,
many bad
I just
movies.
never realized that was Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh.
She doesn't.
Does she not
where
look
is
the
her
same?
short gray hair? Why is it long and brown?
I think it's because I just looked up Jamie Lee Curtis. I know what she looks like. It's
Oh.
because at some point she was younger. At some
Fucking
point.
Dan Aykroyd's in the movie too.
You don't like Danny?
He's just a wacko.
She does look kind of. It's kind of a weird look. The
I've
vicious
seen that movie
Bob.
like 3 times. I never knew it was Jamie Lee.
And that does not look like her on the poster.
No.
They kind of fucked up her cheeks in that. They really do some wild shit on posters. That's an astute analysis by me, huh?
Yeah, especially back then. Anyway.
Well, thanks for listening.
That's my only contribution is Christmas with the Cranks. I guess.
think that's kind of the Christmas comedy canon. But if look at this, listener engagement. If you have another one that you like, leave it in the comments because I think this is on YouTube now. Or in the Spotify question thing. And if you don't use either of those, I don't know how it works. So there you go.
Can I throw one more thing out there? It's not another movie. But like I feel like more than like watching Christmas movies, I'll sometimes watch like Christmas episodes of shows.
I feel like that's a little insane, but give me an example.
Like I feel like I watch like the There's a Christmas episode from Community that's like stop motion. And it's like Abed finds the meaning of Christmas. I don't want to give anything else away because it's so good. But like, I don't know. I feel like I watch that every year. Not like intentionally, just because I'm like, I want to watch something Christmas. Oh, I remember that. Being good. Anyway, I don't know. I just would be willing to bet that I'm not that there's people out there that watch Christmas episodes of shows.
I haven't come across a Christmas episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Really?
I think there is, but they kind of hide it a little bit because it's also like a
Sorry, that was a really aggressive really
show.
Really? Anyway, we can move on.
Gamer Gunker Geiger Gunk.
Nice. Can I just talk about the film for a sec because my research stuff?
Yeah, get through it now so that I can ask my questions later.
Yeah.
Fast, please.
This movie came out in 2003. It had a budget of $33 million. And it made $220 million.
Kind of sicko mode.
Kind of big mode. We've entered big mode. David Barenbaum initially wrote the script in 1993. This movie came out in 2003. There were a lot of like changes around. Originally, it was going to be like darker and like PG-13 probably.
Oh, fuck. They could have got away with so much shit.
Yeah, but Jon Favreau pushed against that and wanted to make a family movie. I feel like probably a good call.
Yeah, I don't think
for what the movie is.
Christmas movies with high, what are those called? Ratings? I feel like that's the wrong way to describe that. With like PG-13 R ratings are kind of a bad idea. Because Christmas movies are for kids, basically.
Yeah. And for like families to watch as like a family. And I guess it actually makes sense that they were going to get the like director that ended up doing Bad Santa to do it initially when I'm assuming it was more of a PG-13
and
type
hopefully
deal.
They were getting Billy Bob Thornton as well.
Well, no.
That guy's electric on the screen.
When it was initially written, Chris Farley and Jim Carrey were two of the like main candidates to play Buddy.
I actually don't like either of those at all.
Yeah, same. I could see the Jim Carrey one happening, but I don't think it has the charm.
He's a little
more
nefarious.
Has the Jim Carrey.
He's perfect for the Grinch. Quick tidbit.
Yep.
Hillary said, "Who's that guy?" when they were in one of the boardroom scenes. And I was like, what? She's like, I always get that guy confused with Chris Farley. Who do you think she was talking about?
Andy Richter?
Yeah. Andy Richter.
I love that Andy Richter's in this movie.
I don't blame her.
And he's acting across from I literally had his name 4 seconds ago.
Peter Dinklage?
No.
James Caan?
No.
Will
I could
Ferrell.
find this. Kyle Gass of
Oh right, he's in
Tenacious D fame. Yeah. There you go. That's what I was going. That's it.
Good build up.
But yeah, I love that Andy Richter's in here. I think and Kyle Gass. I think that they're like a fun little duo. Peter Dinklage. Olivia and I were watching it together, and while Peter Dinklage was on screen, she just went, "Man, he's really good in this." Because like he's
really good.
Kind of like really good in this.
Yeah. I feel like
not that like Peter Dinklage isn't usually good. It's just like I wouldn't expect him to be like really good in Elf.
He's kind of like Dylan Brooks, where he's always ridiculously locked in. You know, it's just how he works.
It's his
but
default
I feel like everyone
mode.
is pretty good in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
My internet is, I think, going to absolute dog trash.
Yeah,
right
it
now,
kind
so
of
if
is.
I'm mistimed a little bit. Just let me know.
Here, let's do another call and response. We do when we're doing a Discord recording, we do a call and response to sync it up, but let's do one just to see how we're doing. I say elf, you say elf. Elf. Really? Was that real? Like you said it immediately
bad?
After?
Yeah. I literally tried to say it immediately.
It was genuinely like maybe 3 whole seconds after.
Damn, brother.
Actually, well, now you seem fine. So, like, that's good. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
It didn't show up on the recording, but Calder it used a duck soundboard.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. But yeah, the cast is great in this. I remember on previous watches, like, kind of hating James Caan's character, because he does suck, let's be honest.
That's kind of the point, though.
Yeah. I feel like I sympathized with him a little more this time. I think it helps that it's like a short movie. I also wrote down that I really liked that Michael doesn't think that Buddy is lame and weird for like a long time in the movie. Like they kind of get that over and done with pretty quick, which I like.
It's kind of like the snowball fight, and then he's instantly in on Buddy.
Yeah, which makes sense. I feel like that makes sense, but also it's good for the movie because I feel like a lot of movies will do that kind of thing, but they'll waste like 30 minutes of the movie being like, "Oh, he has to make him like him," and it's like, can you just make them like each other, or they'll like do 17 things like the snowball fight, or like they do the snowball fight, but then as soon as they go to the mall, Buddy will do something to make Michael mad. Or something like it's. Yeah. I just like that they get along. It's like this is not the conflict here. The conflict here is James Caan's character, like being unwilling to accept his son. That's really the conflict.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but even that I feel like they do a pretty good job of like making it kind of get on with it, unlike what I'm doing right now.
Well, I think it's like. The thing that Four Christmases doesn't have, in my opinion, is that this movie's like very efficient, and that Four Christmases also does have Jon Favreau in it, but this movie's very efficient and like gets through it all quickly, whereas Four Christmases kind of like builds up pretty well, is pretty good until the midpoint, but then it kind of hangs around at a couple of the parents' houses for a little while. Then it has a fucking horrifically long ending, and I don't know if they're much different in length, but they feel super different in length because you're like, I'm
literally looking up the runtime right now. Oh,
damn.
Dude, it's only an hour and 28 minutes for Christmases. It feels so
like
much
2.
longer. It feels like 2 hours.
Because it's like they basically have like 5 set pieces, and they have to kind of split the set pieces out along the way, and then also don't deal with any of the emotional issues of the movie until the third act.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of like, okay, we've been at Sissy Spacek's house for like 15 minutes, and they're playing the game, and the game's like pretty good, but also like, there's nothing really happening with the characters here, you know?
Well, like,
or
imagine
there's like one
if
thing happening.
Imagine if in Elf, like, imagine if the mom also wasn't didn't really love Buddy, and then like none of those 3 conflicts with Buddy were resolved. Oh, and let's say he made Jovi, Zooey Deschanel's character, mad about something. Because a lot of movies do that as well, as they'll throw a conflict in at the end just so that they can resolve it.
Be like,
in the third act.
Did something wrong on the date and now she's mad.
Yeah, literally. But then imagine all 4 of those conflicts are resolved at the very, very end when they like see Santa's sleigh. Like, that's what I feel like what most movies would do, but it would just be like, but they'd probably add another fucking half hour because they'd be like, we can't have them resolved all at once.
They have to add another scene to be like, Buddy doesn't get on the sleigh immediately or something. Whereas with this one, everything's kind of wrapped up. So when he does do his little wave backwards, you're like, oh, there's like some closure here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. And like the mom doesn't really have any conflict to get over, which I like. And then Michael has some conflict to get over because he thinks Buddy's weird, but then he turns into a machine gun. So then he's like, that's pretty cool. And then like Zooey Deschanel's character also like there's a little conflict because like he's like making her uncomfortable, but then they just like get along and it's kind of fine. James Caan is really where it all lies, and I feel like they do a good job of like he's given like a little bit to Buddy at a time throughout the movie where he's like, okay, you can come over, okay, I'll bring you to the doctor and see if we're actually
Can I get
related.
your full
And like
James Caan impression? I know you're on the edge of it right now.
I don't have one.
Just do it.
Truly.
Just try it, please.
Oh.
Oh, that's Elvis.
Well, now I do a good Elvis. Now I know. Anyway, but like even at the end when he has the ultimatum of like lose your job or like disappoint your son for the 500th fucking time, and he like makes that decision. It's not like it's a all of a sudden turnaround. No. Like it kind of is, but like once he gets to the park, like he apologizes to Buddy, but he's still kind of like isn't really sure of what's going on. He's like helping out, but like even when they get to the Christmas caroling part, he's not actually singing, and like him singing is what sends it over the edge or whatever. But like it being the like jingle-o-meter or whatever what it's called, the thing that
clausometer. Jingle-o-meter.
Like,
are you kidding me, man? Jingle-o-meter. Oh,
that sounds like the level of idea that Andy Richter and Kyle Gass's character would.
It's a young asparagus who's getting self-conscious because of the smell of his pee.
But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they do a good job of resolving things quickly, but also not making it like, why that was a quick turnaround. What's going on? You know what I mean?
No, it's just a good movie. It's just kind of well done. And they keep it pretty simp. And that's okay.
They do keep it simp.
You can have Christmas movies that are pretty simple. And you can also have Christmas movies that kind of meander a little bit until they get to the meat of the thing, which is kind of what Christmas Vacation does. It's a little meandering.
Okay.
And then it gets into like the sort of like, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with this freak?
The meat and potatoes of it.
But this one just kind of like sets up everything that's going to happen, has one conflict it's trying to get over. There's a couple hurdles. But like Buddy doesn't really change the entire movie, really. He's the same the whole time.
Literally, he's the same in the flash forward scene where he has a child. Olivia pointed out, she was like, this means that Buddy canonically has had sex at this point. And I was like, he had sex and had a child and has now been raising that child. Yet when his adopted father says, like, have baby sit on Papa's lap, he still thinks it means him. But like
I think this might be a little controversial, but this is a little bit of a like Forrest Gump Jenny situation.
A little
where
bit.
It's kind of like, what is she doing here?
I do think Zooey Deschanel's character is a little more like also weird than the Jenny character is.
Yeah.
In Forrest Gump.
And also it's not like an overtly, like they have a kid, but it's not like an overtly sexual thing that they're doing.
Oh, no.
It's just like they get along really well. It's like a little meet cute.
Yeah.
But like you're kind of, if you think about it, you're kind of like, what the fuck is she doing with a man who thinks he's an elf? You know? He thinks he's
and
a
has
Christmas
the
elf.
developmental skills of probably like hyperactive third grader, if we're being honest. This is honestly almost like Big starring Tom Hanks levels of like weird a little bit. But because it's kind of like the relationship itself though is dealt with very like wholesomely, and it is very kind of like, I don't know, you don't get the sense that there's any like nefarious.
It doesn't feel creepy.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Miles Finch for a little bit? I know we talked about Peter Dinklage a little bit.
Yeah.
But this character is an absolute fucking spark plug.
Yeah.
He comes in, his introduction is incredible. Well, first of all,
I do feel like he comes at the
phone.
perfect time in the movie as well.
Oh, absolutely perfect. And also, it's the perfect person cast, and also the perfect like idea for a character, because like the joke isn't that he is a short person or a little person. It's the joke that Buddy just doesn't understand that little people exist. So it's Buddy who's stupid. Whereas like, it's weird
I
that
feel
he's
like
a little
this
person.
has so much room for it to have aged poorly, but it hasn't, because like you're able to understand why Peter Dinklage's character is upset. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's kind of like, to his knowledge, kind of being hate crimed.
Yeah.
And harassed.
He does have 7-inch plasmas in all of his houses.
But also, we understand that Buddy has no education or development or concept of like a little person in like the grander scheme of society. He doesn't understand the grander scheme of society. He knows that the North Pole exists and that New York exists.
And actually that's actually
the Lincoln Tunnel or whatever.
Yeah.
I loved that the montage is like him walking through snow, and then he's in the Lincoln Tunnel walking into New York. And when he recounts the story, that's literally what he says. It's like, wow, the North Pole's like real close to New York.
Gumdrops. Cane forest. And then I walk through the Lincoln Tunnel. But on the phone, you get this idea of like this angry character, alpha character. You're like, who the fuck is this guy? Especially if you haven't seen it. And then his introduction where the elevator just opens and he walks through and you can't see him. You're like, what the fuck's going on? It's like a perfect way to confuse people. And then you see him and he just like takes over the entire movie for like 5 minutes. And the way he hits his book is incredible. That's the best thing Peter Dinklage has ever done.
Well, because like I feel like it plays, because it does like a bunch of turns where it's like you said, introduce him as like this scary like alpha. I hate using alpha, but like this scary like dominating voice. And it's like, wow, this guy means business. And then, like you said, you don't see him. Then you see him and he's like a little person. Your brain immediately goes, oh, like this isn't what I expected. But then he's like the biggest hard ass. And he's actually like scary, like immediately. So it's like a double or a triple. I don't know. But like it gets you a couple times with this character. It's very good. And then, like, the fight choreography is actually kind of brutal when he actually dives on Buddy. Like, it's not just, like... A lesser comedy would just have, like, shots of, like... I don't know.
Just,
like Will Ferrell hitting at the screen with his hands.
Yeah.
Like, in a close-up. And then maybe a shot of, like, Peter Dinklage grabs Will Ferrell's neck and Will Ferrell spins. And they'll do a shot of, like, Peter Dinklage with, like, a spinning
flailing
whatever.
Around, yeah.
Like, and that would be ha 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 funny, ha ha slapstick, ha ha. But like, it's, to me, it's so much funnier that he kicks him into a dresser and is breaking shit and paintings are falling off the wall, and then he like throat spins him into the chairs, and it's like, man, like it's so much better that way.
Now here's a question: is taking the ideas from his book Stealing?
I believe that is textbook plagiarism.
But it's
Or
also
actually,
just
because
the
I guess it's not
ideas,
been
right?
published. That's just stealing an idea. I think
Yeah,
that's
which is
just-
fine.
If Peter Dinklage's character had a like copy of the book or like proof that he had written in the book and then left the book there, then maybe like I think he could
Maybe?
probably have a case.
But also, people can steal your idea because they, like, an idea isn't really any. This is what they taught me in writing school. An idea really isn't anything unless you, like, actually make the idea. Like, so if you write a script or a treatment or something, because then there's actually something to steal. But if it's just like, Lonely Tomato winds up in the big city and has to find his family, like, that's kind of nothing, you know?
Well, I
That
like
could have
how
like
Kyle
600
Gass's
different
character's
stories.
like, there's so much genius in here. I mean, look at this. And what he shows is literally just like a drawing of a turkey. It's not even like an idea.
And then he's like, let's get a storyboard. Let's get a storyboard going. And then they're like, yep, we will. And then they immediately sit down in front of him. And he's like, well, you can't do it sitting down. And they're like, okay. That's so silly. That's so funny. I think this movie excels at the whole fish out of water thing in a way that a lot of movies don't. Because the way
If
it
I'm
feels
honest,
like it's framed,
someone asks for a fish out of water movie example, I genuinely think Elf would probably be the first one I think of.
I think it in like a different way too, because a lot of fish out of water movies frame things as being stupid, whereas this frames things as being confusing and scary. Where like the world that we live in is a lot more like, what the fuck is going on? Than it is like, oh, you have electric stairs when there's normal stairs right there? Which I feel like is how a lot of movies frame it. But in this, he's like, I don't know how to get on these electric stairs.
Well, he's just like, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know what to do. And like him seeing a sign that says world's greatest coffee. And he's like, it is? And her being like, this is when he brings her there on the date. And she's like, it tastes like pretty like mid to bad coffee. He's like, no.
Crappy cup of coffee? He's like, it's the world's best crappy cup of coffee.
See, when I was watching that, I thought like he'd put syrup in there or put like Jack Daniels in there, whatever that alcohol from the mailroom was. But then they tied back the greatest cup of coffee thing. I was like, oh.
Damn. Every scene in this movie is good because every time you say, like when you said the mailroom, I was like, that's a perfect scene.
It's wacky.
It's insane.
And here's the thing, that's a great scene. If I were to like cut it, not that you need to cut anything for time, this movie's an hour and a half, but like if you did, like that movie or that scene kind of doesn't really add much. Like you could remove it aside from like making his dad mad. I mean, like the grand scheme of the plot, you could probably remove that and like work around it and have the movie still make sense, but including it, I feel like seeing Buddy bond with someone and like seeing Buddy like be liked and like, I don't know, it kind of like shows, because the whole movie everyone's looking at him like he's an idiot, literally every single person he encounters. So that's like a nice little break of like, oh wow, something is working for him.
I think
and it's
the whole movie's kind of about like the effect that Buddy's positivity can have on the world. Where like he goes in the mailroom, everyone seems threatening. It's dirty. It's
he literally
grimy.
says they all look like they want to hurt him.
And then like him just being there and being himself and being positive kind of changes the world around him. Not even with just like making a friend, but also everyone else is like gets in on the dancing and the all this stuff. Where it's like he just turns things into a positive when he's there and being himself and like being a happy person and being positive.
It kind of made me wonder, I couldn't find anything online about it, but like it would probably just be on like the DVD special features or something. But like, because when they're doing the end bit where like they keep cutting to different groups of people singing, what is it, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, like they cut to all characters we've seen before, but then also the like bikers at the bar.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there was like a biker bar scene that was cut.
Oh,
that,
maybe.
Like, brought those guys in. Anyway, that's just a curiosity.
But I think that's also just a bit of it where it's like these things that are inherent to Buddy of like best way to spread cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Yeah.
It just rings true in this world of the film where it's like, if you sing on TV and you like earnestly mean it, it'll bring other people up with you.
It's being a part of a moment.
Like a flash mob. Everyone loves a flash mob. Everyone loves...
Everybody loves a flash mob.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing that you did now.
What? Flash mobs?
Yeah. Wow.
What?
We went a little too
Good
long
movie.
without both of us losing our train of thought and going silent. So we have to have that moment now.
That's true.
So why is everyone that works for children's books such a fucking freak? Like the board members.
Oh yeah.
Even like
I
Andy
think it's
Richter,
more that
Kyle
everyone
Gass.
in the film is a freak. Like think about everyone that he comes in contact with who's like more than like an extra.
The manager.
The manager's literally, I was gonna say, what a wacko. What a guy.
Hillary told me this tidbit, which I don't know if it's true. She might have gotten it off TikTok, but I trust her because she's my lover.
You could use a word other than
she just
lover.
said I heard
Maybe
that
perhaps
from the
wife.
room. The manager's name is Wanda. Did you catch that? Because
Wanda Sykes.
it was supposed to be Wanda Sykes.
I did not catch that because I read that it was supposed to be Wanda Sykes, but I didn't see the name tag.
So Hillary's
That's
just
very
actually
interesting.
smart. She didn't just get that off TikTok.
No.
Wow.
I mean,
love
both
her.
can be true also, but
Damage control. I love her very much. Damage control. This movie also has a lot of the big Christmas songs, which I think works in its favor because I feel like we'll just pit it against Four Christmases again. Sure. There aren't really a lot of iconic Christmas songs in Four Christmases.
no.
Also, Four Christmases looks just overall cheaper than this movie. Like this movie looks pretty good.
What was the budget for Four Christmases?
Probably insanely high. Because it's Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon kind of at their peaks.
$80 million.
Yeah, and that movie looks like absolute hog shit. It's kind
Literally
of like a
almost
change up
triple.
situation. Remember in the change up when they were showing the magical fountain and they didn't shoot enough footage, so they just freeze framed it?
Yeah.
And that's a $90 million movie, $80 million movie.
Pretty bad.
We'll do change up next year. But this has like a bunch of the iconic Christmas songs and also kind of the iconic versions of it as well, which I think helps because it's like it's all encompassing, right? If you had this Christmas movie, but it had like kind of shoddy versions of the songs and like not the good songs, it wouldn't really work as well.
Can I say something that sounds weird, but I don't think it is?
Try it.
I feel like Zooey Deschanel's voice is like perfect for Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Like,
especially in this.
Yeah. Like her singing it in this movie, I'm like, that's exactly how I want Santa Claus is Coming to Town to sound like.
Mm-hmm. Very like raw.
Well, and just
subtle.
like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. I think just like her voice is kind of perfect for it. It's like kind of like soft, but like also like, I don't know, joyous. Like it's not, I don't know.
I think she's in a band or something, right?
Maybe.
Didn't she do the New Girl song? Yeah, she did the New Girl song. I think she's in a band or something. I don't really know.
Cool.
All these people are doing other stuff aside from the thing that they do calm down and do your thing. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Freaks.
She also does not look like Zooey Deschanel in this movie.
And
she's
this was
like
also,
very
like,
young, very small, and blonde also.
This was kind of weird because for both Will Ferrell and Zooey Deschanel, this was like kind of their first big thing. Will Ferrell too. This is like his first leading role.
Yeah.
I think. Unless I'm just lying.
Which is
out of the seat
crazy.
of my pants.
I mean, I know he did SNL, but still crazy to start with a Christmas movie and like build a great career off of that.
Well, here's what he did before. So he did SNL, then he did Austin Powers as Mustafa, which is like a bit part. Then he did a failed SNL movie, Night at the Roxbury. Then he did a movie called The Thin Pink Line. Never heard of that. Then he returns as Mustafa in Austin Powers. He's in a couple SNL movies. He's in a movie called Drowning Mona. He's got a bit part in Jay and Silent Bob. He's the villain in Zoolander. He's in Old School this year.
Oh, then Zoolander is probably... Oh, Zoolander and Old School are probably his first, like, now people are starting to see Will Ferrell.
Yeah. And
like,
then...
in movies, I mean.
But I think Zoolander did pretty bad because it came out, like, around 9/11. Which is such a weird... Yeah, it came out, like, 2 weeks after 9/11. It didn't really make that much money. It's such a weird tangent to go on.
It's not a tangent. That's just, like...
I guess it's
I feel
just
like
a
that's
fact.
true with a lot of movies.
Yeah, a lot of movies came out around 9/11.
Dana Carvey, Master of Disguise.
Did that actually come out around then?
I actually think it came out a bit after 9/11. I do know that, you know, his like turtle character he does in that movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the like clips.
We could do that next year. We're doing a lot of them next year.
We're also not gonna do almost any of them. But like, I know that apparently, like during filming of that turtle scene, everyone on set found out that 9/11 happened, and then he had to do that turtle scene with that knowledge, and like while everyone's processing it.
They're like, okay, roll again on the turtle.
Well, it's literally Dana Carvey in a fucking turtle costume going, wow, whoa, whoa. And it's like, okay. Dude, imagine having to do that. Guaranteed, I would put all the money I ever make in my entire life on this bet. That not just one, but multiple people went up to Dana Carvey while they were filming that scene and were like, listen, it's obviously a tough time, but people are going to need laughs. People are going to be looking for laughs right now. Like,
I guarantee that.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible movie, allegedly. Yeah. But this is like Will Ferrell's
I
first...
thought it was like beloved. I saw it on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like 8% or something. It's like really bad.
And I don't think the audience score is even good.
No.
But this is
We're checking up on a lot of movies that aren't Elf.
This is Will Ferrell's... It's a 1% critics on Rotten Tomatoes. 36 audience. Jesus Christ. This is Will Ferrell's first big leading role that was successful. Like, because as you said, this movie made $223 million on a $33 million budget.
Yeah.
Shot also kind of buys Jon Favreau his career. It kind of like gives him a blank check because he made Swingers? Swingers before this, I think. Why is this called Made? What the hell? That's weird.
It's probably a U.S. thing, some movies. Like a Philosopher's Stone type deal.
Wait, sorry. I'm freaking out right now.
Clearly. By the change in pitch.
Oh, Doug Liman directed. What the hell? Oh, so Jon Favreau just made a stinker for his first movie called Made with him and Vince Vaughn. Or is that Joe Rogan? What the hell's going on? But then he makes this movie, then Zathura, and then Iron Man. But this is like...
And then Chef.
Brother, you want to talk about good? I don't know if we should talk about Chef. But he goes on to have
haven't
like
seen
probably one of the most influential careers in Hollywood because Elf made so much money. Because Iron Man obviously starts off the MCU, Iron Man 2, and then he does in the 2010s Jungle Book and The Lion King, the live action remakes, which obviously the Iron Man starts off the MCU, Jungle Book starts kind of off the remakes for the Disney classics and like this new way to shoot things, but then does like The Mandalorian, which is also the first Star Wars TV show.
I wonder what his official title is at Lucasfilm, but like he's basically like the Kevin Feige of Star Wars right now, or was for a bit. I feel like that's kind of becoming Dave Filoni's title now, but
what the fuck were we talking about before this? Will Ferrell's perfect in this movie. I don't think there's a single other person who could play this role.
No.
Like, there's no other person who is like as sweet as a comic actor as he is. Even in like old school when he's being an absolute scumbag, he still feels like a nice guy. Or like when he's saying horrible things in Anchorman and Talladega Nights and Step Brothers, you don't hate him because he feels like a nice guy still.
I feel like he has like nailed like ignorantly annoying, where like a lot of his characters are like, the thing about them is that they're annoying and dumb and sometimes like stupid and also bad, but like almost all of them kind of stem from some level of ignorance, which like you are let in on, like to varying degrees in different movies, but like you're let in on the knowledge that he's kind of just like an ignorant person, and that kind of makes the annoyingness funny because you're just like, this guy's got no fucking idea what's going on. Like him running around the revolving door screaming, that's annoying. But the fact that I know that he's someone who has no idea what this is, like the first time I found out what a revolving door was, like, I don't know. I feel like he's nailed that kind of character.
Yeah.
Archetype.
Think he feels like he's got a good heart, whereas like guys like Vince Vaughn or Jim Carrey have a bit of like an insidious, I said this earlier, but an insidious thing to them, where it's like
insidious is pretty extreme, but I know what you mean.
Where it's like he's an absolute scumbag kind of thing.
There's a smarm or like a cockiness to those kinds of characters.
Smarm a lot on here.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like
once
we've
every
said
5
it about
episodes.
I feel like we've said it before about like a specific actor maybe. Oh, we said it about Zac Efron in like That Awkward Moment a lot, where he was like, we said smarm a lot in that episode.
Yeah,
that's
I guess you're the one that
performance.
You listen to them. I don't really listen.
Dude, can I tell you something I did this week?
Yeah.
I listened to the first podcast we ever did together.
Boys at Large episode 1?
Yeah. And
must have been
it
fucking bad. Is it because I sent you that message about making Boys at Large defunct?
Oh, yeah. No. It was just because I was on SoundCloud.
It's still out there?
They were there. Only 2 episodes are on there. I think they're all still unlisted on YouTube. So, like, I think they're
good.
Like,
we don't need to put them back up.
No, definitely not. It was really bad.
Ugh. I have 2 little tidbits, and then I'll do questions.
Okay.
Tidbit number 1. I love that the footage of him on the newscast of like the elf walking around looks like Bigfoot footage.
Yeah, very clearly. Yeah.
And number 2, the clausometer is fucking off whack. Michael believes because he gets a skateboard, that bumps it up 30 clausometer points? That's insane. You just need one
that's the
child
thing.
to believe, and it's 30 clause points?
When that happened, Olivia and I were like, dude, just like have Michael focus really hard, I guess. Or like just, I don't know, tell a bunch of kids. Like it's probably pretty easy.
Yeah.
But then like I was like, oh, it's probably like they need like
Sustained?
sustained Christmas cheer in order to power it. But then like 40 people singing one Christmas song is enough to power the whole
it's also on the
fucking thing
news.
for all night.
You're supposed to feel like
Yeah.
everyone in New York is singing.
I guess so. But like
I think the
I guess.
clausometer is a little off its rocker. It's kind of,
Yeah.
maybe as they would say, off the henny.
Well, because
But-
they also act like James Caan finally singing is what bursts it over the edge.
I feel like that's a little logical, though, because I feel like it might be weighted, you know?
He's like the biggest Christmas crank.
Yeah, he's
kinda
on
like
the naughty
Scrooge
list,
character.
which I love that is like the worst thing that's ever happened to Buddy at the start of the movie. His dad being on the naughty list. That's insane. You know whose dad is on the naughty list?
Who?
I forgot that guy who just died. Henry Kissinger's son. His dad's on the naughty
Well,
list.
he's not on the naughty list anymore because he's dead.
Put him in the hell then.
Dude, what if we died and like the confirmed afterlife was that there is heaven and hell, but really it's just whoever was on the naughty and nice list when they died? Or like percentage, like I had 51% of my life was on the nice list, so I get to go to heaven. Like, like that's, and Santa's literally just there, like I don't know what to tell you. Shouldn't have been naughty. That's kind of
Brother,
like how
I got a
life-
rude awakening for you. You have not been nice for 51% of your life.
Well, good thing I've got about 52% left.
Damn, you're gonna die soon. Jesus Christ.
50, not bad.
It's not great, actually. Do you have more stuff, or can a boy like me get into
I
questions?
do have some stuff because believe it or not, this was actually technically my episode, so I did research, but like you kind of did most of the research, it turns out. So I've got some stuff.
I always do research because I don't trust you.
Roger Ebert, our boy, Raj, gave the film 3
Roger,
out of 4
Roger.
stars. We can't chant on a call; it's going to be delayed.
I wasn't chanting. I was just saying it again and again.
Roger Ebert called Elf one of those rare Christmas comedies that has a heart, a brain, and a wicked sense of humor, and it charms the socks right off the mantelpiece.
That guy loved a plot.
What a quote, Raj. 3 out of 4 stars, pretty good. The film made heavy use of forced perspective
Yes, it
to
did.
exaggerate
Yes,
the
it
size
did.
of Buddy compared to the other elves, which sometimes looked really good, sometimes didn't, but
The forced
most of the time
perspective?
looked really good. Well, just, I mean, the forced perspective, I think, always looked good, like in the classroom and the workshop and stuff. But
The
like
effects were
sometimes
kinda
they
rough
do a
sometimes.
size thing that would not work. Mostly when he sits on Papa's lap, but
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
stop
sus.
motion animation was also employed for certain sequences.
Mostly, I think, the
like,
North Pole stuff, right?
Yeah, the North Pole, like little creatures.
Leon, Narwhal.
CGI was used, but it was kept to a minimum by Jon Favreau's request.
They had the
which
goblin
apparently he had to
troll?
fight. He had to fart. I said. I meant he had to fight hard for to have there not be much CG. Which, thank goodness, because yeah, they had the little troll, which was CG and looked bad. Let's be fair, but it was only on there for
Yeah.
2 seconds. So
And
who
it was
cares?
also 2003.
And then I think the big like nutcracker guy on the store was also CG.
Oh, really?
Olivia pointed
even
that out.
notice
Yeah,
that.
it's just like a still
The sleigh is
CG
also
like
CG.
model. Yeah, but honestly, the sleigh looked okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
but
But
the
that's
rest looked
also
bad.
the CG thing. There was some I noticed when the sleigh crossed over the road as the Rangers were running down the road near the end, where like it kicked CG snow onto the road, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, because the
Just get a little
CG
guy in a
artists were
green
probably like,
suit.
dude, we could probably throw some fucking snow on there. And it was like, do it. And they were like,
And they're
this
like,
looks incredible.
This is a revolution. I bet you back then,
Well, it's like-
that shit was crazy.
It's like when my brother showed me a trailer for the very first Uncharted game on the PS3, and he was like, look, when you go in the water, his clothes stay wet, and then they slowly dry over time. And I was like, holy fuck, there's never going to be a game more advanced than this. And now I look back at like the original PS3 version of that game, and I'm like, what is this, the GameCube?
And now games are regressing also. What was that? What's this
In
one
some
game
cases.
that isn't on Steam anymore 3 days after it came out?
Oh, yeah, isn't it called 3 days after?
3 days gone? 3 days after?
Something like
Maybe,
that.
I don't know.
But so apparently, the game was announced and they released a trailer, and it basically looked like it was taking concepts from like a dozen different like popular games. And I haven't paid too much attention to it, but apparently everyone was like, this is very clearly a scam. That like the game's going to suck. They're going to get a bunch of people to buy it because it looks like games they like, and they're going to have a bunch of microtransactions. But it's like, I think people also couldn't like trace where the developer was from or something. Anyway, it was basically like full-blown scam. And then the game releases, and nobody buys it, obviously, because the conversation around it is that it's a scam. So who would buy the game? And then 3 days, or 3 or 4 days after it was released, the developer shuts down and like takes the game off of Steam. Crazy.
You know what also shut down? E3.
Our disc.
It's over.
Oh, E3. Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah, our Discord's really fucking horrible right now.
it's okay. I think honestly the recording might be fine. But yeah, E3's kind of been in the dead zone for a bit now.
But it's like officially gone.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I
now
just
it's
read
like
when I was trying to
officially
look up that game.
Yeah. But
do you have
well.
more stuff?
Yes.
It'll be easier for me to just let you talk, and then you tell me when you're done.
Sure. This movie inspired a 2014 stop-motion animated film called Elf Buddy's Musical Christmas. The only returning cast member was Ed Asner as Santa. I want you to guess the replacements for some of these characters. Who do you think replaced Zooey Deschanel?
Is it someone I would know?
Probably. This one's a bit obscure, but the other two aren't.
It's got to be Sydney Sweeney.
Kate McCucci.
Who the fuck's that?
Garfunkel and Oates or something?
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, she's a comedian.
All right. Is that
guess
the
who
little one or the
replaced
tall one?
Little one.
Okay.
Guess who replaced James Caan?
Oh, who would need a check in 2014? What old Italian would need a check in 2014? Fuck. I'm going to say like one of the guys from Sopranos. Imperioli.
Mark Hamill.
What the hell? I guess he did need a check in
Right?
2014, if I'm being honest.
Well, yeah, because Force Awakens didn't roll around until 2015. But also he was doing primarily voice work for like that decade. So I guess it makes sense, but like also what? Now, guess who replaced Will Ferrell? This is the
Can I get a
one.
hint?
You can get a hint. This person has been the star of a popular sitcom in the past 10 years, we'll say.
Ensemble, or it's about them?
It's an ensemble.
Star of a popular sitcom in the past 10 years. 2014. Fuck, I'm trying to figure it. Oh, is it the fucking kid from... what's his name? He's in Big Bang? Is it the Big Bang guy, Leonard?
Oh, Johnny Galecki?
Yeah.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
No, it's not Johnny Galecki. It's actually his co-star Jim Parsons.
I was surprisingly close.
Yeah, man. For a sec, I was like, you said the kid. And I was like, what? The kid? No, the Big Bang Theory people are kids.
Well, actually, Johnny Galecki's in Christmas Vacation. He's a
cool.
young boy in that movie.
Oh, that's why he said. Okay, I see. But yeah, Jim Parsons replaced Will Ferrell for that.
I don't like that.
I just found that very interesting.
I'm kind of not on the Jim Parsons train.
They also had like a lot of other interesting like ads. Rachel McFarlane was like Emily Hobbs, like the mom. Fred Armisen was a character. Gilbert Gottfried, Jay Leno, Steve Higgins, Matt Lauer.
The father of that guy on SNL was in there?
Steve Higgins?
Yeah.
Steve Higgins also the fucking...
I know. What did you say,
You got
Rachel
me.
McFarlane?
Yeah, Rachel McFarlane. What else has she been in? I recognized her face when I hovered over it.
Oh, I guess. I think she's like a voice actor.
Oh, she's mostly a voice actor. Okay.
Yeah, that's why you would know her, because you're kind of a freak for those people. That's wild that you just made those noises.
Several minor traffic accidents occurred while Will Ferrell walked down the Lincoln Tunnel in his costume because people were so surprised and distracted while driving.
They shot a lot of the stuff for real in New York. Like where he's just kind of running around doing shit.
Which is pretty awesome. There's a couple times where you can like see someone notice the camera and like
kind of
look away or react, but like who cares? It's not really noticeable. John Favreau used a remote control to trigger the Jack in the Boxes to scare Will Ferrell, so that they would come out at like good times.
I love that.
Scare him.
That scene always hits.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. It's perfectly laid out. Will Ferrell turned down $29 million to be in a sequel in late 2014. Which brings me to another one of my facts, which is on September 18th, 2013, Mental Floss reported that Favreau was interested in making a sequel called Elf 2 Buddy Saves Christmas. Later in December of the same year, Ferrell stated that he did not want to make a sequel. 3 years later, in January of 2016, Jon Favreau stated that a sequel could still happen. The next month, Will Ferrell reiterated that a sequel was unlikely and stated that he was generally reluctant to do sequels unless there was a story that justifies it. And then on September 18th...
Like Anchorman 2.
Yeah. Then on September 18th, 2020, James Caan reaffirmed that the possibility of a sequel was unlikely, stating that Ferrell and Favreau did not get along.
Interesting.
Which I've never heard about. Like I said, reported by Mental Floss. So who knows?
Favreau does seem
I'm not
to
like
be
questioning
in
Mental
more of the,
Floss's credibility. I just don't know.
Favreau seems to be more in the Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson side of comedy than the John C. Reilly, Adam McKay, Will Ferrell side of comedy.
Yeah.
So I guess
there's a little bit of crossover. Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn were in
Old School.
That other one, Old School.
And but I feel like they're two different types of things.
Yeah.
You know?
Last
dodgeball.
So anyway, I just found that very interesting. I do kind of like that it's like Jon Favreau's like, could happen, and Will Ferrell's like, no. And then Jon Favreau's like, who knows, guys? And Will Ferrell's like, no,
could happen here.
And then he turned down $29 million. Crazy. Last fact, and then we can move on. The scene where Buddy eats different candies and pastries and toppings on his spaghetti had to be shot twice because Will Ferrell vomited the first time.
I love that.
Which makes sense. Just gonna go through my notes that I took during the movie, and then we'll move on.
I love
the
how
storybook.
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. I thought you were gonna take a little longer. I love how he crushes up the Pop-Tart so excited and so like quickly. He barely crushes it. He just breaks it into 4 and then starts mixing the whole thing with his hands. Just perfect. Just incredible.
Well, the direction for that was probably like, I don't know, throw a bunch of shit on there and start eating it excitedly.
Yeah.
And he did that.
Because Jon Favreau. Hack. I don't know. That's not true. I shouldn't say that.
Here's some of my notes. The storybook intro transition was really good, and they also did it kind of to end the movie as well, which is pretty cool.
Are we going through the whole
troll,
goddamn thing?
No. The troll looks bad. Bob Newhart, who we haven't really talked about as Papa Elf, very good. I feel like he delivers all of his lines very like casually and nonchalant, and it kind of works. Like when he's like, yeah, people aren't... there's not a lot of Christmas cheer, so I had to tinker together this jet engine rocket. And he's just talking about it so casually.
Hillary said he's really good at stuttering. And I was like, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Because he's like he just kind of like, yeah, well, he grew a little faster than the other elves. Where he'll just take like kind of natural pauses.
Yeah.
I probably did it just as good or probably better than he did, actually.
Leon the Snowman is cool and looks good. I literally saw the troll and it was like, wow, that looks bad. And probably like 5 minutes later they did the snowman and it looked good. The difference was troll CG, snowman stop motion, which like so cool that like they blended so many different like styles and techniques together, like with forced perspective, stop motion, but like being sized to like be like beside Wolf. I don't know. I think a lot of that stuff looks really good and is very interesting. Carolyn, the little kid who like talks to Buddy in the waiting room, is like kind of the goat. Talking to him in the waiting room, and then also like while he's on TV being like, "Yay, Buddy!"
Love eating cotton balls.
Yeah, which apparently was just undyed cotton candy on set. Pretty cool.
Hopefully it was real
snowball fight
balls.
was obviously awesome. Buddy literally was about to kill himself, throw himself off the
Brooklyn Bridge.
The Brooklyn Bridge.
I don't know if
see
that
Santa.
was the brook.
Santa hates cops confirmed. I really liked how he was like, the fucking Central Park Rangers.
Central Carp, they're a bunch of fish.
Wow, but that was very good. Anyway, overall thoughts: Elf is a Christmas classic that holds up much better than I thought it would. That's it. Oh, last one is a quote from Olivia. She said, "Buddy is Adam if he was built like Calder." So she thinks that Buddy acts like me, but is built like you.
I'll give you a little behind the scenes of what's kind of going on in my life, actually.
All right.
My dad's side of the family calls me Buddy because they thought I acted kind of like this character when I was younger.
Wow.
And I'm also large. And I wear green a fair amount. I'm wearing green right now. Merry Christmas, bitches.
You're wearing green right now. Merry Christmas.
Say it.
Merry Christmas, bitches.
There we go. You naughty boy. I'll say one last thing, and then I'm going to quick fire you the 2 questions I didn't ask you already.
All right.
When I was watching with subtitles and Pennies from Heaven was playing, when he starts like scatting, I guess, is that the proper phraseology?
Yeah, I think so.
It said singing in a different language, and I was like, he's going zippity doo da boop. He's not singing in a different language.
Interesting.
So I think that's just
Someone
Jeff
goofed
Bezos.
up, I think.
That's just Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Probably did this one personally. Question number 1. Would you let Buddy in your house?
I feel like if he said he was my son and like if events played out the way they did and it was like kind of clear that he is my son, I would let him stay.
I've done this to you 3 or 4 times and you barely let me through the door.
Yeah, but like we're not related by blood.
I've been pretty convincing at times that we are. And that I am
injecting your blood into mine doesn't
But it was pretty freaky when the blood test came back and said we were related, huh?
Yeah, but like also you had like Bill Murray's blood in there. I don't know what that was doing in there.
Well, we were
so,
just
like,
having a good time.
I just don't, I think like if Bill Murray's blood wasn't in there, maybe I would have believed like, oh, maybe we're brothers or something. But you being like, you're my dad, and then also like Bill Murray's blood being in there, I was like, oh, so there's just like people's blood. Like your body is kind of
You know
just
how
like
they say
a melting pot for people's blood.
You know how they say people inject themselves with young, like babies' blood to try and be more youthful?
No, but go on.
I think this is something that your people, the alt-right, would know about. But I am kind of going by the theory of like, if I inject myself with old people's blood, I'll get their experience and their knowledge.
Why did you inject yourself with my blood?
Well, that was just for the paternity test.
Oh.
But I was trying to get Bill Murray's comedy. I also injected myself with James Judi Dench. And to try and get
Dench.
Yeah, I can't say her name legally because I have a restraining order. But
because you took her blood?
in so many words, I guess. But
I'd like to do a quick flashback to about 2 minutes ago when you said, I'm going to speed round these last couple questions.
This is as fast as I can go, brother, as I weave this tale. My next question is stupid, so this is why I was kind of stalling.
Okay,
but
good.
Just to let the people know, I wanted James Judi Dench's class and her poise. Okay? And her blood, obviously, when I went to her house at midnight with a syringe, 3 or 4 syringes strapped to my body like they were grenades.
3 or
Vietnam. 4? Well, I need just in case one breaks or just in case I miss my veins or something. Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
Weird. What's going on with her? She does
what?
like this, 500 Days of Summer, The New Girl. And I think she's on like a New Girl rewatch podcast now.
I think she's done like a couple voice things as well. Oh,
Is
yeah,
she
she was
like...
in Surf's Up.
Oh, right, yeah. Classic film.
But I think others as well.
I don't know. I just always find her career kind of weird because her sitcom is like her, you know? It's kind of like about her. That's her whole thing. But I feel like she's very famous, even though New Girls isn't like a super famous sitcom. You know? And like her movies aren't all that famous.
Oh, she's one of the main characters in Trolls, which actually does pretty well.
Trolls, Let's Band Together. Is that the new one?
Yeah. Dude, I saw a TikTok where someone was like, I am going to watch 2 movies today and I want to bring you along with me. The first is Disney's Wish. The second is Trolls.
Sounds like a nightmare.
And she got out of Wish and was like, cinema is dead. That was horrible. It was one of the most boring corporate schlock garbage I've ever seen.
Isn't it about the star at the top of the Disney castle?
Probably, man. It looks like trash. It looks horrible. It looks like it has no soul. And it's losing so much money, and it makes me happy. But then she got out of Trolls, and she was like, "Cinema is alive," and was like,
I don't
praising
know if that's
it.
true.
I've heard that like, if you are like a musical theater kid and like love things like Glee, you'll probably like Trolls because it's just full musical camp.
We gotta figure out how to get acid and then watch Trolls on acid.
Sure, if you'd like. I don't
know how to get that though. That's the thing. That's the reason I'm not like.
Hey, I've got a hookup.
A drug addict is like I don't know how to go about that.
I've got a hookup.
If I knew how to go about that, my life would be in such a different situation.
My internet guy, he
sells you acid?
Well, he does acid. Every time he's come and tried to fix our internet, he leaves and it's still fucking broken, so he must be on acid. Anyway.
He's like, oh, are these snakes coming out of this thing? You're like, that's the
He's
wires.
like, sorry, I
I
plugged the
fixed it."
Cobra back into the fridge over there. And I'm like, no, brother, that is a wire and an internet modem. But I appreciate you.
It is cold, though. You should get that checked out.
It is cold, though.
Adam Driver.
Haven't really thought about this, actually.
One of the security guards for me. We didn't really talk about them much, but I think that's where I want him.
I might honestly put... That's a good one. I feel like that's pretty good. I might put him, actually, in one of the either Andy Richter or Kyle Bass. Or Kyle Gass. I keep saying Bass. Kyle Gass.
I just thought of the
roles.
right one.
Dude, did you see him hosting SNL this week?
Richter?
I've only seen a couple clips. No, Adam's Driver.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, I've seen a couple clips. He's a fucking wacky guy.
Is it with O-Rod?
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe.
Maybe I'll take a peek.
But he did this whole thing where he like made a goofy face and approached the camera. And I don't know. I just watched a clip where I was like, man, Adam Driver's like going full goofy. And I was like, I think that him doing like okay, picture this kind of character, I feel like he could pull it off in a fun way.
I think the right answer is the mailroom guy.
Oh, good answer, actually. It's pretty good.
And now... That was a good little bit of work I did there. That was a good bit of work I did there. Oh, yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Where are we ranking this sumbitch?
All right. So our last Christmas movie was Die Hard. It's at 22. Do you think this is better or worse than Die Hard?
I think this is better than Die Hard. This is an
Really?
absolute Christmas classic.
I'd agree. Well, this is my movie actually I picked, so you gotta give me a little range here. You don't have to pick exact. But
I'm thinking,
like
I'm looking, I'm analyzing. Number 8.
8. Wow.
No, number 9. Sorry. Number 9. Sorry.
Wow. Still very high compared to where I was thinking.
Yeah. I think it deserves it, though.
I was thinking, like, in and around, like, the Game Night Iron Giant, which is 14, 15.
I just think, like, part of it is this movie could have been so bad. Like, think about all of the ways we said this movie could have been bad. And it's not, and it's quick, and it's funny every time somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And Will Ferrell's incredible. There's not a single character that is unlikable, even if they're supposed to be unlikable. There's still, like, even the head of the Greenwood, I don't know what the Greenwich, whatever the book company's called. I still kind of like him because I love the way he yells. Like, just the tone of his voice when he's yelling.
Yeah.
When he's like, a -8! You know?
Well, he's like perfect, like yelling boss, like that character. Like he's perfect for that. What is your AirPods die? You can't hear me anymore?
I didn't hear you for a little bit there, but it's okay. Hell yeah, brother.
It's okay. I was barely talking. So here's my thought, because I do think my answer is like around Game Night Iron Giant. So what if we split the difference here? Because here's the thing. I do think it's actually better than Game Night. I don't think it's better than Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but I actually think it's better than The Thing.
That's psychotic that you think Harry Potter is better than The Thing, but I'd allow that. Put it below.
Dude, we have different
above
preferences. This list is chocked full of compromises, brother. But I'd be okay with putting it at 12.
Yourself into the toilet.
I'm okay with putting it at 12. I don't feel comfortable putting it above like Black Klansman or Step Brothers.
What about Surf's Up?
I don't want to put it above Surf's Up.
You just
Dude,
don't
I'm
want
giving
to?
you more than you're giving. You said 9. I said 15. And I'm putting it at 12.
That's 3 spots for each of us, so I don't really know what you're giving more than I'm giving.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. No, that would be 4 for me. I'm giving up here.
Hurry, I guess, but like you're sick in the head.
Here's my thing with Surf's Up, and I think that like Surf's Up does more like theme and like message wise than Elf does. Elf is just kind of like,
what the fuck's
Christmas.
the message of Surf's Up? Surf and you'll be good. You're gonna have a good time if you surf.
Dude,
what the hell's
it's
that
about
talking
fucking
about
like
there?
it's about like existentialism and like accepting what
Did you take some
living
acid?
life
What are you
to-
talking
no.
about right now?
Surf's Up is like about like learning to live life to live it rather than like living life for like, I don't know, like fame, fortune, like worldly things. It's like about learning to let go of all of those things. I'm not talking about Surf's Up in this episode.
Why not? This is the point of the ranking, is that we have to discuss the movies.
Oh, true. Surf's Up, I feel like... Okay, then I'll do that. Surf's Up, I feel like... I don't know. I just feel like it has a lot more, like, character development that's kind of gradual, and it's, like, kind of perfectly paced. Like, this movie, I feel like we discussed, I don't think it's a bad aspect at all, but, like, kind of all of the character development is in James Caan's character, and the character development is kind of like he learns to open up, like, to his son and to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, Surf's Up, I feel like has, like, multiple characters who kind of, like, have individual character growth and, like, development journeys that are kind of, like, interwoven. And they're both 1.5-hour movies. So, like, that actually... these are kind of, like, in the same realm of, like, tightness. So I'm not gonna...
My man's over here talking about how tight things are.
Tight these movies are. They're tight.
I'll give it to you.
Thanks, man.
But you just know you owe me a big favor when we get to the reshuffle.
What? Dude, I understand
Fast Five,
that
top
fucking
five.
Fast Five's
Hashtag
going up.
Fast
It's not
Five,
going
top
top
five.
five, brother. It's not going top
Brother,
five,
hashtag Fast Five, top five.
Also, wait. Without giving too much away about what we're doing next year, you will have an opportunity to move Fast Five. Do something. Pick something else for the reshuffle.
Hashtag Fast Five, top five.
All right, so that's it, I guess. That's the episode. Probably
put
our
it in the-
biggest like
the
back
list?
and forth on where to put a movie in a while.
Yeah, you
I feel like
almost
we've
didn't
been
want to
pretty-
do it, too.
Well, we've been pretty much in agreement for like most of these things. I actually feel like what was the most recent like big debate we had?
The master
Not
debate.
really. Not really any. I feel like we've been like pretty on par with each other for a while.
Iron Giant, I feel like, was a little... Actually, no, we kind of agreed on that one. Kubo. I think Kubo was a bit of a big one.
Oh, probably Kubo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for
I'd
an
agree.
episode where I just trash a movie people seem to like, listen to Kubo.
And then also listen to the subsequent episodes in that month, because Calder compares them to Kubo in being like, this movie does what Kubo couldn't do because Kubo's bad. So that's another thing.
Fuck
Even though Kubo's not bad, but
you're a skunk,
anyway,
Kubo,
so
and
that's-
you always will be.
that's Elf at number 12 on our list right now, under Surf's Up, above The Thing. Let us know how you liked Elf. If you're on Spotify, you can just like do the little question thing. It should be easy to access. If it's not, that's kind of Spotify's fault. And otherwise, you can contact us in other ways if you know how. I'm pretty sure our Twitters are linked in our bio if you really want to. I don't really check Twitter, but if someone tweets at me, I will look. Yes, I will.
And also, we have a special little message from from a little elf working in the North Pole. He made a little song for us. So stick around to hear that. And go check out Adam and my YouTube channels. I'm Adam, and I think I'm Calder on YouTube.
Yeah.
Adam's
That'd
got
be
some
cool.
stuff in there.
Did you say Adam's got some stuff in there?
Yeah.
Like what? What?
I'm just saying you have some
What do you
stuff
mean?
on your channel.
Oh, yeah, sure. Most of it bad, but like,
Let's be nice.
I'm working on it. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean, I make stuff and
You're
might
better
like
than Mr.
it.
Beast.
Yeah, if you want to hear a little Christmas song that I put together, you can stay tuned for after the outro if you'd like. Sorry, I messed that up. Just a content warning. It's explicit and deals with mature themes. I guess. Anyway. Thanks for listening to this episode. We love you and appreciate you. We'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Santa Claus, call him Jolly Saint Nick. He'll crawl into your chimney for your jolly tainting dick. Father Christmas is his name and fucking is his game. There's no one else to blame. Every Christmas Santa came. Jingle bells, jingle balls, Santa finna fuck 'em all. Santa's going door to door, he ain't in the fucking mall. He's a big round man in a red felt suit. Santa's coming to your house, and he's coming real soon. I've been riding Santa's sleigh while I've been riding Santa sleigh, bouncing up and down while I see the Milky Way high up in the sky. One day we all gonna die, but until that day I'll take another Santa cream pie. When he's on his way with his famous reindeer, Rudolph's leading in the front, Santa's fucking in the rear. Santa's celibate 364 days, but he triples that number when it comes on Christmas Day. 'Twas the night before Christmas, Santa all through the house. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Well, Santa was there, he was fucking your grandma, grabbing her by the hair. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming all over town. You wonder what's up with all the snow business, but now you know what really brings a white Christmas. His jizz, his cum, his splooge, it's enough to change the heart of Ebenezer Scrooge. So when Christmas rolls around, you're sipping on your eggnog, just remember that it came from Santa Claus's Yule log.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Remember to be kind to one another. And fuck.